Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I want to welcome you all to another caucus, another wonderful evening of getting to see your neighbors and doing some worthwhile business. And I appreciate very much all of you who've made the effort to come out tonight. Not only is it a chilly night, just one of a few we've had this winter, and I know the parking has been particularly difficult, so I certainly appreciate the efforts you've made to find a place to park and get in here and see us. We do have a lot of business to conduct tonight. There are some new little wrinkles, which I suspect most, if not all of you, know about, we'll be attending to. So I would like to get started shortly. I must say that there are, although a lot of the seats are filled, there are seats interspersed in here, and I know when and if we get around to a contest, which I think might be in the offing this evening, that it's a lot easier to sort of keep track of who's voting and who isn't. And I've had a request from our tellers to try to encourage as many of you to grab a seat as possible. There are a lot of people who should be thanked, and I will try to make an effort to do that. I'll probably save most of that for when there's some counting of ballots going on. I think that might be a good time to take up some of the slack with thanking so many people who really helped put this together this evening. The first order of business is really to read the caucus call, which has been posted as it is typically every year in 5 different locations throughout town. The caucus call is as follows. In accordance with provisions of Chapter 53 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and amendments thereto, if any, a caucus of the registered voters of the town of Sherborn, Massachusetts, is hereby called to be held at the 1858 Townhouse, Sherborn, Massachusetts, on Thursday, March 5th, 2015 at 8 p.m. Sorry, we're a little bit late getting going. For the purpose of nominating candidates for the various town offices to be filled at the annual town election, for the election of officers to be held on Tuesday, May 12th, 2015, to elect a town caucus committee and to transact any other business that may legally come before the meeting. The meeting will be called to order by a member of the town committee. The checklists of registered voters will be used, and in fact has been. And this is signed by me, George Fisk, as a member of the committee, as well as Janet Walsh and Britt Phillips, who are both here assisting this evening. And before we get into the business of explaining the process, which I will try to do succinctly, I do want to introduce a couple of people. And the first person I'd like to introduce is our representative, David Lenski, who has joined us again and would like to share his hello, I'm sure.
Thank you, George, and thank you everybody here for letting an interloper from the town of Natick come and talk to you. I'm going to talk for 30 seconds. I just love this night. You guys know I come here every year to see this because this is pure democracy in action. It is really a tremendous effort and a tremendous tradition that each of you put forth to come out here in horrendous weather to participate in civic engagement and in the local election process. So I just want to thank you. I obviously want to thank you for giving me your vote of confidence last November to come in for a 9th term in the House of Representatives this year. When I first started running back in 1999, when I weighed a lot less and I had a lot more hair and it wasn't gray and my kids were little, I knew about 3 people in the town of Sherborn. Now, out of the 4,200 people in Sherborn, I think I know about 4,000. And it's a really special place, and I'm so proud to represent all of you. Thank you for letting me come and say hello. Have a great caucus tonight. I'm going to hang around. And by all means, if there's something that you want to bring to my attention, do it. I'm here. And as you know, I'm always available to talk to each and every one of you. So thank you very much. And have a good day.
thank you, David, very much. And keeping a tradition that's been established a few years ago, we are going to have one of the younger board members of the community center offer a few words, and that person is Sarah Creer. Sarah.
Hello, my name is Sarah Creer, and I'm one of 4 student directors here at the Sherborn Community Center. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone here to the 2015 Sherborn Town Caucus. Tonight's venue is located in one of Sherborn's finest historic buildings. This building was built in 1858, and after 157 years of existence, it continues to thrive as a gathering place for all members of our community. This is the home of our community. It offers and hosts many meaningful and worthwhile events our town has to offer. The Sherborn Community Center Foundation is the nonprofit organization that manages and maintains this building. Their mission is to promote a sense of community by ensuring that this community center is available to and used by Sherborn groups and organizations at minimal or no cost. Since the inception of the Student Director Program, we have worked very hard to build a series of events and activities geared towards high school students. The Student Director's mission is to provide high school students a fun and safe place to hang out. We are especially proud of Jammin' in the Red, a coffee house format for Dover Sherborn students to perform, and there we can listen to music, dance, perform, and enjoy it as friends and performers as well. It is a great event that I enjoy very much. As I speak for the foundation and the student directors, I send a big thank you to our donors and volunteers for all your wonderful support. It is because of your generosity that we have made this wonderful tool to offer our community. Thank you all for coming to Sherborn's annual Town Caucus and for participating in this important political process. I wish all the candidates luck tonight, and thank you for your commitment in making Sherborn great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, very much, and thank you to the Community Center Foundation for making this space available to us year after year. It's a wonderful venue, and we enjoy having caucus as well as many other events here throughout the years. Frank and others, thank you. At this time, we need to elect a clerk to serve this evening at caucus, and so with that situation in hand, I would ask if there are any nominations for Town Caucus clerk. Janet, do I see you? And who might you?
I'm Janet Walsh, Woodrow. I would like to nominate Renee Montella as caucus clerk.
Renee Montella has been nominated for clerk and caucus. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, a motion has been made that the nominations be closed. Is there a second to that?
Second.
There's a second, and I am going to accept that she has been elected clerk by acclamation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. As newly elected clerk, I will ask for nominations for the position of moderator for the 2015 Town Caucus.
Janet Walsh, Woodrow. I would like to nominate George Fisk as moderator.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare the nominations closed and will entertain a motion that the clerk cast one ballot for George Fisk to serve as moderator.
So
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Yes. Aye. All opposed, no. George Fisk is elected.
A special thanks to Renee. Yesterday she didn't know she was going to be doing this. Sue Anderson has ably filled this role for a number of years, a number of others as well, but Sue unfortunately was taken ill and was unable to be here. So Renee, who had started out as yesterday as one of the checker-inners. Got a huge promotion. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the process. I think most of you know it. Let's reiterate a bit here. Caucus is really the kickoff to the election season. And I don't know if any of you noticed, I hope you have, but kudos to Carol Markle, who saw something like this elsewhere and thought she'd take it upon herself to put these together. There's some hanging around. You should take a look at it, but it shows really the election process, and it shows that it starts here tonight. This really is the kickoff to the election season, and it's intended to get the juices flowing and get people really interested in what's going on in town government and begin to think about their role or people they'd like to support who they believe would do a good job in looking after the best interests of our town. So what we will be doing tonight is electing caucus nominees for those positions where terms are expiring this year. And I do anticipate, we do anticipate there will be at least one contest or perhaps several. And in that instance, those instances, the so-called winner of that contest will be named as a caucus nominee and will have their names on the ballot. It doesn't mean that's the only way you can get your name on the ballot. You need not even run this evening, but if you either don't run but would like to have your name on the ballot, or you do run and you're unsuccessful tonight, you can take papers out. They're nominating papers, and Carol Markle, our town clerk, has those with her. I think she has them with her all the time. And anyway, I encourage those of you who'd like to run, even if you're not the caucus nominee, to see Carol, whether it's today or soon. Hopefully you did all receive, when you signed in and got your ballot, you also got an agenda for this evening, and it shows the various positions and the incumbents for those positions. There also is, I believe, the town election dates are important. Look at those dates so you understand what happens following this evening. And it's important for us to stay in sync with the timeline to make sure that all the signatures that are required on the papers that need to be filed, so on and so forth, is done efficiently, quickly, and properly. I would encourage those of you, I more than encourage you, if you are a caucus nominee tonight, whether it was a contest or not, it is extremely important for you to formally accept that position. And you do that by signing a sheet that Rick Phillips, who's in the back room, holding your hand up, has this important sheet. And if you are the caucus nominee for whatever position that might be, we ask you to accept that tonight, presuming you're going to. Otherwise, we're running around for the next couple of days trying to find you. And that's just as a lot easier on us if we don't have to do that. So I'll be reminding you of that, I suspect, through the evening. And I also suspect that Britt will be seeking you out to get your acceptance. In going through the nominating process tonight, there are a few candidates I know who cannot be here. They're either out of the country or one way or another they are unable to be here. And that's too bad, but what's more important, frankly, is that we have someone who can speak on their behalf, the nominator. And when I call for positions, and if you intend to nominate someone, I would ask you to approach the microphone. I think that's the one that should be used. And if you would state your name and your nominating talk, if you care to give one. I'd like to try to limit that to 2 minutes or so, and I'd really like you to speak to the qualities of your candidate and really nothing more. This isn't a debate. It's not intended to be, nor should it be. And I suspect, because we have a tendency to be quite civil at these things, that we will continue to be civil this evening. So I look forward to a good evening of hearing about various candidates, filling the slot, and hopefully you'll feel as though you're spending the evening here is worthwhile. So, with that, I think we should begin to move on to the various positions there. Expiring this year, and the town moderator position is a one-year term. Typically, people run for multiple years, but don't have to. And the incumbent, I think you all know, is Cory Lincoln. This time, I would ask if there's a nomination.
Peg Robinson, Road, and very happy to nominate Cora Linda to be formal, Lincoln to be moderator for another year. I will be brief.
Peg, I'm going to ask, before you give, and I'm sorry, I should explain this, before we have a little talk, I want to see if there are any other nominations, and we'll go in order if there are. So, are there any other nominations? I don't hear any, so now.
Oh dear, I'll get this right. But anyway, I will be very brief because I'm really ready for the next position to have a long series of votes for a 5-member board. But I think Cory has done a wonderful job as moderator, but I think it's important to know that's not her only job. She also is charged with making many key appointments for town business. I think she's been very fair and unbiased about that, and I think she is well qualified to be a moderator again.
Thank you, Peg, very much. I will entertain a motion that nominations be closed, that clerk cast one ballot for Cory Lincoln as moderator. Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, Cory, once again, congratulations. Thank you.
George, speak up.
What's the matter?
We can't hear you.
Yes, thank you. Good. Thank you, thank you. I'm
George,
sorry.
speak up.
Speak
Or
up.
use the mic. Thanks for that.
Yeah, just don't get too close.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're okay.
So now we will move on to the matter of electing a nominee for selectmen. Now, this is the wrinkle this year, as I think you're well aware. At town meeting last year, town did vote to expand the number of selectmen in Sherborn from a board of 3 to a board of 5, which really means, and because of what's gone on subsequently, this year, rather than electing a nominee for one position, we're going to be doing 3, but not simultaneously. We'll be doing one at a time. So the first position will be that of selectman for a 3-year term, and when we finish that, we will go to a 2 and a 1, and presumably we will end with a candidate for each of those positions. What I would like to do, and this was suggested to me in the last month or so, is that if you're making a nomination, when you make your nomination and when you say something about your candidate, some of you may feel strongly in favor of whoever that might be, and that's great, but we'd like to withhold applause for each candidate and just simply will have applause at the end of that election. There's a feeling that might have set a better tone, so we're going to attempt to do that this evening. So Nancy, who are you?
Nancy Hess. I'd like to put into nomination Charles Young, better known as Chuck.
Chuck Young has been nominated for the position of selectman for a 3-year term. Mary?
My name is Mary Wolf, Slaughter Hill Lane, and I would like to nominate Mark Brandon.
Mark Brandon has been nominated. Catherine?
Kathy Caruso, Whitney Street, and I'd like to nominate Peter Caruso.
Peter Caruso. Are there any other nominations for 3 years? All right. What Renee is doing, obviously, is putting their names up on the board. She's going to try to do that with each candidate, but in this instance, because there's only one position, she's got 3 names, she's going to put a 1, a 2, and a 3 next to each one, 1 and a 2 and a 3 next to each of those names. And this is where, when we do have a contest, we're going to do what we typically do, and that is by ballot. And you all, when you checked in, presumably got a ballot. And what I'm going to ask you to do, if you are voting, you don't have to, but if you are voting, would be to tear off ballot A, and we will be passing around, if we haven't already, we're passing around pencils and pens and you will be putting, if you are to vote for Chuck Young, you would put a 1 on the ballot. If you are voting for Mark, a 2, and for Peter, a 3, don't bother voting for more than 1 if you do vote invalidly. So we want to make sure it's only a 1 or a 2 or a 3, and make sure you know whose name is attributed to each number. And if you feel inclined to fold it, okay, but I know the tellers tend to be happier if it's not folded. It's a privacy matter, so anyway, I would ask you to do that. And
George,
we will, yes.
could we get the 2-minute speeches?
Yeah. So I just want to explain how that's going to go.
Okay.
So, in that situation now, Nancy, I think you're the first.
Chuck and Libby Yon have lived in Sherborn for more than 30 years. Their children attended the Dover Sherborn schools, and Chuck took his turn coaching youth basketball, t-ball, and soccer for more than 15 years, in addition to serving as one of 2 commissioners for the Dover Sherborn youth basketball program. His professional career has been as a legal advisor and general counsel for IT, biotech, pharmaceutical, and clean energy companies, as well as universities and medical schools. He has been a board member for MIT Enterprise Forum and WPI Venture Forum, adjunct faculty at Babson, and incorporator and board member of New England Baptist Hospital for approximately 20 years. Here in Sherborn, he has served as a member of St. Teresa's Finance Council and St. Teresa's Parish Council. He has already given much time to town government as a member of several different committees, including recycling, governance task force, advisory, and the planning board, where he always made thoughtful, well-considered contributions and earned the respect of his colleagues. I know him to be a principled man of great integrity. He will be an excellent addition to the Board of Selectmen, and I would urge you to support him with your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Mary?
It's a pleasure and a privilege to nominate Mark Brandon as candidate for Board of Selectmen. Unfortunately, Mark is out of the country right now, so I'm unable to be here this evening, but I'm sure most of you already know Mark, as he has been an active and contributing member of our community for 20 years. In addition to holding volunteer positions at Pilgrim Church, Mark served for a number of years as an assistant scoutmaster for Sherborn's Troop 1. He is currently a member of the Built Environment Committee, working to develop the town's general plan, focusing in particular on the downtown and traffic circulation. Mark also serves as Sherborn's representative to SWAP, a multi-town committee that looks for opportunities to exchange information and develop opportunities that will result in savings for the member towns. The group is currently looking at ways to lower maintenance costs for municipal buildings and facilities. The Board of Selectmen is the chief executive body of the town. Mark has a broad range of executive experience, from running a 3,000-employee division of a multinational corporation to currently being president of his own Metro West manufacturing company. These varied experiences have given him a good understanding of how to lead and motivate both large and small organizations. I've heard Mark say that his current company competes very successfully against much larger organizations because he has a superior product. I believe that would describe the situation we have here in Sherborn. Our town offers a superior product, but our challenge is to remain competitive with larger towns, many of which have broader tax base and other sources of revenue. Which brings me to what I feel is perhaps Mark's greatest qualification as a candidate for the Board of Selectmen. When Mark became chair of the advisory committee in 2011, the town was having some serious financial problems, regularly dipping into free cash to close the gap in the operating budget. In his first year as chair, Mark introduced a strategic plan for building the yearly budget in a way that could bring the town to a position of financial health by establishing what we now refer to as guidance, the uniform percentage increase in funds allowed to each department for the coming fiscal year. As a result of implementing Mark's plan, the town has brought its use of free cash to close gaps in the budget from over $500,000 in FY12 to $0 in FY15. Mark's program for improving the town's financial health has served us well, and it appears it will continue to do so, well, a legacy well into the future. In conclusion, Mark is an effective strategic planner with a proven ability to develop new ideas and sell them to the town. He brings to the town leadership skills honed through a variety of executive positions. As a town volunteer for 20 years, he has walked the walk of service to his community. So I ask you to join me in supporting Mark Brandon as the caucus nominee for Board of Selectmen.
Thank you, Mary. And Kathy?
Good evening, I'm here to nominate my husband, Peter Caruso, for re-election to the Sherborn Board of Selectmen for another 3-year term. I can tell you that Peter has worked very hard during the last 3 years to learn the facts and ask the right questions. I know he can sometimes be very persistent with his questions, but all in an effort to be well prepared for the topic at hand and in order to make a well-informed decision that is in the best interest of all of us. Prior to his work as a selectman, Peter was vice chair on the advisory committee, where he learned a lot about how a town like Sherborn operates and what its many financial and other challenges are. In the early days of volunteerism, he was active coaching youth sports and in scouting. By way of professional background, Peter has a BA from Bucknell University and an MBA in finance and accounting from Northeastern. He spent a number of years as a CPA and has gone on to become CFO of one of his favorite clients, Puma, which was a very challenging turnaround. Since then, he's been involved in other turnarounds and startups at the CFO, COO, and CEO levels, including 2 innovative education startups. Most recently, he founded his own company, Air Motion Sciences, which has a patented energy-saving product for industrial and agricultural facilities sold worldwide. He knows how to work with limited resources to succeed, all the while keeping an eye on the details and the big picture. Perhaps more important to know, we have created a life together here in Sherborn for nearly 30 years. We are blessed to have been able to raise our 4 children here. Pam, Janet, Petey, and Katie have all gone from preschool all the way through to Sherborn High School, with Katie about to graduate. Thanks to having a child in children's schools for 25 years straight, we know the value of a Dover-Sherborn education. We also know the value of a multifaceted and supportive community. Peter wants to continue his work on the Board of Selectmen to give back to the community with his unique perspective and skill set. He wants to be sure future generations of the community will be able to continue to enjoy what we have been so fortunate to enjoy in our time here in town. I encourage you to support bringing back Peter to the Selectmen's table for another 3 years. We will all benefit. Thank you.
I would ask Chuck, I think Chuck is here. Chuck, would you just stand, or here's Chuck. And I know Mark couldn't be here tonight. And Peter, are you, Peter's over here. There you go, thanks, Peter. Okay, at this point, let's proceed to the ballot vote. And so, as I explained before, we're going to use the A ballot, and I would ask you that you either put a 1, 2, or 3, depending upon the candidate you have. And then the tellers will be collecting those ballots, and we'll take a few minutes to count them and see what the result is. All right, we have the feedback.
You're okay.
All right, we have the results. I did want to clearly thank people who had helped in this, and just to let you know that people are checking in, many of whom do it year after year. We're beginning to try to get some newer people, a few younger people, as you might see. to get involved in town affairs, and it's been a good thing for us to do, I think. I want particularly to thank Jeannie Guthrie, Mary Ann Clancy, Serena Hall, Mark Kantorsky, Jennifer Searle, and Eleanor Alexander. No more I haven't mentioned yet, but thank you very much. Appreciate it. Here are the results for selecting for the 3-year term. Chuck Young received 71 votes, Mark Brandon 32 votes, and Peter Caruso 48 votes. Chuck Young is the nominee for the 3-year term. We will proceed to the next selectman position, which is for a 2-year term. Staggered this year. We will see in the future that you'll find that when we're electing, for instance, next year, we'll have 2 people for 3-year terms. So I will accept nominations for selecting for a 2-year term.
Mary Wolf, second Elaine, I nominate Mark Brandon.
Mark Brandon has been nominated. Are there other nominations? If not, I will entertain a motion that the nominations be closed, and that Mark Brandon be the caucus nominee for a 2-year term for selection.
So moved.
Second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, congratulations to Mark. We have a 1-year term for selectmen, and I would ask for nominations.
I nominate Sean Colleen.
Sean Colleen has been nominated for a 1-year term on the board of selectmen. Are there other nominations? Kitty, would you like to say something on behalf of Sean?
George, I think you have a long night, and if he's the only nominee, I thank everyone for being here tonight.
Very good, thank you. The motion nominations be closed, that Sean Colleen be the caucus nominee, 1-year term for board of selectmen.
Second.
Second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, thank you, Kitty. Is Sean here? There he is, Sean. Congratulations, Sean. We will move on to the position of treasurer. Are there any nominations for treasurer? Yes.
Nancy Best, and I nominate Heather Peck.
Heather Peck has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? If not, Nancy, would you like to say something on behalf of Heather?
I'll take Kitty's cue on this and let people get home early, but Heather is a really good candidate. She's been doing yeoman's work in the absence of our retired treasurer, so I hope you'll support her at the ballot in May.
Very good. Then I will entertain a motion the nominations be closed and that the clerk cast 1 ballot for Heather Peck as treasurer. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, thank you very much. The next position is that of assessor. I'm sorry, Heather. There you are. Thank you. Congratulations. The next position is that of assessor. 3-year term nominations.
Ken McDonough, 3 North Main Street, and I'm on the Board of Assessors. And I'd like to nominate Karen Flynn. She took the position when Greg Wall left and got a job in the North Shore. And she's been on the board for about 1.5 years. And she'd like to run and we'll do a 3-year term. She's a terrific real estate attorney. A real credit to the board and the town.
Are there other nominations for assessor? Is Karen here? No, okay, Karen's not with us this evening. Karen Jennings Flynn has been nominated. There are no other nominations. I'll accept a motion. Nominations are closed. And the clerk has 1 ballot for Karen Jennings Flynn. Moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, congratulations to Karen. Sherborn School Committee. Do we have nominations for that? We have two positions for school committee up this year.
Okay, Frank Hess, 64 South Main Street. It's my privilege to nominate Scott Embry for the Sherborn School Committee. Scott and his family relocated, excuse me, I'll wait. Sorry.
Mike,
Michael Reed, 28 Wildwood Drive. I'd like to place Greg Garland's name in nomination as well for Sherborn School Committee.
are there any other nominations? Frank.
Okay. Scott and his family relocated to the greater Boston area in 2009 and made Sherborn home in 2010. Attracted no small part by high-performing schools. Like many, they did not end up here by accident. Education is a top priority. Formerly an engineer in the auto industry, Scott now focuses his time raising two children who currently attend Pine Hill. He is active in our community. After successfully serving as chairperson at the ECDC Nursery School for 2 years, Scott is presently a co-president of the Pine Hill CSA. He was recently elected to trustee of the Sherborn Academy and continues his involvement with the Sherborn Recycling Committee and the Sherborn Community Center Foundation. Now that his son is in first grade, he has the privilege of leading a den of Tiger Cub Scouts. His volunteerism spans the generations with his involvement in the town forest firewood program. Scott will bring a rational, procedural problem-solving approach to support the progress of the school committee administration to manage a challenging budget while maintaining the high quality of education expected from Sherborn. Scott is no stranger to the workings of the school committee. As co-president of the Pine Hill CSA, he has attended most of the school committee meetings for the past 2 years. To have someone who's actually sat through almost 2 years of meetings and have them still willing to run, you know you have a strong candidate.
Is Scott here? There he is. Thank you. And Mike.
Greg Garland is running again. He's on the school committee. He's lived in Sherborn for 20 years, and I'll keep this brief. He is looking forward to serving the town for another 3 years. And I personally would like to acknowledge the endless time he spent with the negotiations on the teacher's contract. That's an extraordinary position for anyone to be engaged with, and there are many others in the room who also did that investment service. And I think he's an excellent candidate to continue to lead the Sherborn School Committee.
And is Greg here?
Oh, my apologies. He is out of town for Canada.
We have two nominations for two positions, so I will entertain a motion nominations to be closed. I'll let the clerk cast one ballot for Scott Embry and for Greg Garland for Sherborn School Committee. Second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you. We're moving on to Sherborn Academy. This is a nomination. Vice President.
My name is Leslie Barnett, and I'm here to nominate Ellen Stone for the Sherborn Academy Foundation.
Are there any other nominations? Yes.
Ellen has lived in Sherborn for 19 years. Her participation in town boards includes the Personnel Board, Sherborn Arts Council, and Treasurer of CSA with Pine Hill. She enjoys giving back to the town and is pleased to be a trustee of the Sherborn Academy. Sherborn Academy Foundation would benefit greatly from Ellen's continued service on the board.
And is Ellen here?
No, Ellen can be here.
Having one nomination for one spot, I would entertain a motion nominations be closed and the clerk cast one ballot for Ellen Stone. Secretary, trustee, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, we're losing all of the good clerk. Thank you very much. We have three incumbents for a 3-year term on the library. Bruce Ekman, Chris Kenny, and Mike Roush are the nominations.
Jennifer Searle, Old Orchard Road. I nominate current trustee Chris Kenny as Sherborn Library trustee. As a current trustee, Chris's efforts that you might notice relate to regular communication with our library director concerning ongoing maintenance issues such as lighting and mechanical systems, sidewalk paving, stone step repairs, taking care of our beautiful beech tree, as we try to keep the library comfortable, safe, and operational ahead of the planned major renovation. Chris is a registered architect. I invite you to support me, join me in supporting Chris Kenny for Sherborn Library Trustee.
I should have had you just make a nomination, but that's all right, that's all right. Other nominations?
I nominate Bruce Ackman as trustee. Bruce has been on the, has served one term already, and he's the chair of our technology committee. He's done a lot of work in planning for the new library. He's been excellent.
Thank you, and another one I suspect.
Chris Kenny, Farm Road. I nominate Henry Roach for a second term. His financial wisdom has helped keep us fiscally responsible for the past couple of years. And he was instrumental in fundraising that has led to the success of the new renovation.
Now, is Chris Kenny?
Yes.
No. I know that Bruce Ackman is out of the country for a while, and is Henry Roach here? He's at a board meeting. Okay. And any other nominations? I don't think so. If not, entertain a motion to ballots be closed for clerk has one ballot for each of those three. I would trust you for your turn. Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And we'll move on to Water Commissioner. The incumbent is Darrell Beardsley. All right.
I'm honored to nominate Darrell Beardsley for re-election to the Water Commission.
Are there any other nominations?
Darrell is a professional engineer that's been a great value to our committee as well as the Board of Health, and I think the commission is happy to announce that we will not be mailing out city water bills tomorrow.
I'll entertain a motion nominations to be closed and Darrell Beardsley be a caucus nominee for Water Commission. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Is Darrell here? Yes, she is. Darrell, there you go. Congratulations. For Cemetery Commission, are there nominations?
Chucky Delaney, Hollis Street, and just an aside, I'm Janet Walsh's mother. We lost Paul Leach this year, and we'd like to acknowledge that. He did a lot on our committee. We've been very fortunate to have Susan Tyler step forward and to nominate her to fill the position.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for Cemetery Commission? Did you have anything further to say, or anything?
Just a tiny bit. I think everybody here knows Sue, and she's. You stand up.
Where's Sue? There she is.
Anybody who's ever watched the selectmen's meeting could get on the back of the hat on. And she is wonderful, and she has already in her 2 months done more than I've done in the last 10 years. So we would be delighted to have her aboard.
Thank you. Entertain a motion nominations for close. Clerk has one ballot for Susan Tyler. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, you're ready to go. I can see. All right, we have the position of Planning Board. The incumbent is John Stevens. Other nominations?
Warren Wheelwright, Hunting Lane. I'd like to nominate Paul Putnam for the Planning Board.
Paul Putnam has been nominated for Planning Board. Are there any other nominations? Why would you like to say a few words about that?
Poe is a practicing architect. I will make this short and just say that in terms of he's a long-term member of town, he documented expertise in planning, energy-efficient design, and architectural preservation. Is well suited to the work of the planning board. Indeed, Post previously served several terms on the Sherborn Planning Board in the 1990s. He's also served on the Historic District Commission. And we're fortunate to have Poe to contribute once again his design skills that will round out the board's skill set. I urge you to vote for Poe Putnam. Thank you.
And Poe, you are here. Would you like to? All right. All I would entertain a motion that nominations be closed or clerk cast one ballot for Poe Putnam for a 3-year term on the planning board. Motion's been made. Seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations. The next position is that of the Lower Sherborn Regional School Committee.
Richard Robinson, West Street. I'd like to nominate Michael Lee.
Michael Lee's been nominated. Are there any other nominations for Regional School Committee? Richard.
Michael and Stan has lived in Sherwood since 2008. The daughter Hannah is now a sophomore at the high school. Over the past 3 years, Michael has served on the committee, has put his professional experience in education to work on behalf of the school committee. The school committee has several major responsibilities, 2 of which are policy and budget. On budget, Michael is a whiz. He's probably the most knowledgeable person on the budget in our committee currently. In fact, probably the most knowledgeable person I've served with in my 7 years on the committee. As far as policy goes, policy at the school committee level encompasses a wide variety of issues from curriculum to long-range planning. And what I've been impressed with increasingly over the past few years is the good sense that Michael brings to every single policy decision that comes in front of us. Is never an idea alone. He's always willing to consider opposing points of view, is always using evidence as the basis on which to make decisions, as well as the best interests of the students and the towns in decision making. I think he deserves all our support. Thank you.
There being no other nominations, I would entertain a motion nominations be closed and clerk cast one ballot for Michael Lee for Regional School Committee. Second. Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Good. How are we doing?
I still need Alex and Michael Lee, so please. Oh, and Michael Lee, please. Don't leave without signing.
Okay. Good. We're doing well.
Good.
And then we have Board of Health, Peter Riffin is the incumbent. Are there nominations?
Carol Marble, Stony Brook Road. I put into nomination the name of Peter Livingston.
Peter Riffin's name has been placed in nomination for a position of Board of Health. Are there any other?
Susie Wheelwright, Hunting Lane. I'm proud to place in nomination Rebecca Honeywell. She's a physician. Oh.
Okay, let's
Are there others?
Are there any other nominees for a position on the Board of Health? If not, let's have Carol first.
Okay.
The first nominations.
I'll be very brief. I know we all want to go home. Peter has a long list of qualifications and an even longer history of service to the town. But the real reason I nominate him is that he has integrity, he has principles, he believes in applying the law equally to all. He does not pander, and he tells the truth, even if it's not what we want to hear. So I ask you to support Peter Livingston.
Rebecca is a physician. She's married with 2 children. Family has lived in Sherborn for 18 and a half years. She's committed to the town, and she's committed to public health. That is a long-term interest of hers. Before med school, she spent summers working in rural Mexico, helping with immunization programs. And in Haiti, she helped set up health clinics. On that basis, she went to med school and after was on the clinical faculty of the Harvard Med School for 10 years and then went into private practice. She has a rational approach and her science-based analysis is an asset that the Board of Health needs and values. She will continue and initiate new public health initiatives in the best interest of Sherborn neighbors and citizens. I've known Rebecca for a long time. She is a principled individual and an excellent scientist, and I urge you to vote for Rebecca Honeywell.
Peter, would you stand up so we can see it? And Rebecca, I think you're Peter. Okay, well, this being a contest, because there's only one position, we will move to having a ballot vote, and presumably you still have your ballots with you, and we'll move, as you might expect, to B. And I would ask you to tear off B, and Peter will be identified as number 1 and Rebecca as number 2. And depending upon which candidate you choose, please indicate that by the number. And we will be collecting those ballots shortly. I'd also like to a special thank you to our tellers tonight because they've been good to work. Lucy Almasian is the standby. She's done this for quite a while for us, and I thank you. She's sort of the leader of the pack. We have some new, younger people, which Doug Brody pointed out to me earlier. I think Sue Purse, I think, is here too, and they're probably very disgusted with this, but we have Ashley Howell. Thank you, Ashley. I know this is a first experience. Sam Blackrock. Thank you very much for this. The results, very close. Peter Rifferton, 66 votes. Rebecca Honeywell, 67 votes. So, Rebecca, you were the caucus nominee for Board of Health. Congratulations.
Why we tell young people to vote. One vote makes the difference.
Okay, let's keep moving. We have the position of Recreation Commission, and
Melissa Bowman, Woodland Street. Mic on? Melissa Bowman, Woodland Street. I'd like to nominate Leo Kavanaugh.
Leo Kavanaugh has been nominated for Recreation Commission. Are there any other nominations? Do you have something about to say about this?
Yes. I'm proud to nominate Leo Kavanaugh for re-election to the Sherborn Rec Commission. A 13-year resident of Sherborn, Leo owns a printing and sports promotion business and works with professional and college teams throughout the U.S. and Canada. As the current chair of Sherborn Recreation, Leo is committed to significant improvements to our town facilities and expansion of our recreation programs for all age groups. His leadership this past year helped accomplish major field rehabilitation work and seeding, tennis court repairs, our new AED program, partnership with Fire and Recreation on the ice rink, and other things as well. Leo has a strong relationship with the users of our facilities, specifically the youth and adult leagues who lease our fields and whose income is critical in funding our facility maintenance and the other rec programs. I have been, I've been really impressed with Leo's interest in representing not only the typical sports groups in town, but also those residents who don't have have the loud voice of those organizations. These are groups such as tennis players, skateboard park enthusiasts, and playground association. We are fortunate to have Leo as a candidate for the rec commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Leo here? There he is. Thank you, Leo. I will entertain a motion. Nominations be closed. Clerk cast one vote for Leo Kavanaugh for recreation. Second. Moved, seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, thank you. We do have another bit of business, and that is to elect the caucus nominee for next year, for the ensuing year. And I want to once again encourage those who either for one reason or another did not run for office tonight, run for nominee, as a caucus nominee, or those who perhaps ran but were unsuccessful to think about whether they'd like to take out papers. That opportunity is here. If you want to discuss it, Carol, I think is the best person you should speak to about that, Carol. So at this time, before we adjourn, I'd like to ask if there are nominations for the caucus committee.
Claire Graham, South Main Street. I'd like to nominate Britt Phillips.
Second. Is there a second? Marianne? I'm saying the same, so.
Marion Clancy, North Main Street, and despite the fact that I'm still reeling from your comments about us older people, nevertheless, I would like to nominate George Fisk.
Ann W. Woodruff, I'd like to nominate Janet Walsh.
Are there any other nominations? I don't think we need speeches, but I will entertain a motion that the nominations be closed and the clerk cast one ballot for each of those people mentioned as the caucus committee for the ensuing year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you very much for sticking out tonight. Appreciate you being here.